on the forefront of that, and I appreciate that. They could have came in a whole different way, and thus far, like I said, they've received me, and he's been a great worker as well.
Coach B thinks about Brian as kind of like a third starter. What stands out about him so far?
Man, he's been good as well. Man, he's obviously gotten a lot of reps, and he could be a starter. He's that type of talent. But you could put him to the field, you could put him to the boundary. He's been able to manage both positions, and he's adding a lot of value, man. So I think the other day on Friday, he was lights out. He arguably could have been the best player on the field that day, but he's been positive as well, just like the rest of the group. So I got a good group. I've inherited a really good group that I'm thankful for.
That's what I want to ask you guys. Daniel Brown, he seems unique to that room. What's he bringing?
Super unique. He's like a lightning bolt. Man, his stature is different than some of the other kids, but man, when he gets off that ball, he's explosive. And he's a quiet kid by nature, but you can start to see him open up and communicate a little bit more and really start to gravitate towards the group. So I think he's another kid who can add a lot of value to our team. There's some versatility as far as what he could do. So I'm glad I get a chance to be a part of his world in regards to coaching as well. Thank you.
You're probably already asked about him, but what have you seen from Gabe Backus this spring so far?
A lot of leadership. A lot of production in practice, really good worker, super physical, super imposing. He's been really good thus far in, the 7 practices I've known him, but he's been a joy to coach.
From a physical standpoint, where does he stack up according, with some of the other outside backers that you've coached in your career?
Yeah, I think he's probably one of the more imposing, man. Obviously he's strong in the weight room, but he plays with great leverage and great power. I said to these guys the other day, being violent is only acceptable in certain sports, boxing and football, and I think he's a violent player. And I think he's developed other pieces of his game that make him more versatile. But, man, when he puts his hands on certain guys, there's no question who won that battle. So he's what you want in that buck linebacker position.
We talked to him, and he said the season he had last year was not acceptable to him. He wants to take a big step this year. Have you watched a lot of film on him? What do you see on his film?
I watched the film last year just trying to get an idea of the personnel, and I'm not sure what his goals were for the last season. All I can speak on is what he's shown me thus far. And thus far, man, he's been super intentional. He's been a great worker, and he's producing. So I imagine if he continues down that path, which I think he will, he'll have a good season. But I've been really pleased with him thus far.
When you have players like him, Seth and Alec, who played a lot of snaps, how does that help you kind of maybe get acclimated with the room?
Makes me a better coach from the jump, right? Like, you got good players, you become a better coach. But they played a lot of snaps, and I think as I learned the system, I kind of lean on those guys because they've done it, and they can offer some different things that I may not have gotten to yet. But they've been great. They've been great. They're leaders. They're communicators. And for me, I think just asking more and demanding more to try to get them to where they want to go, which is obviously the next level.
Big time of year for recruiting. A lot of kids coming in for visits.
Yeah.
What's the response been with, I know you can't mention specific names, obviously, but what kind of response have you gotten so far on the trail?
Good. When I took the job, a number of recruits that I was communicating with at my old institution reached out, and just trying to build rapport and relationships, right? That's the biggest thing in recruiting. I'd say just being here thus far with the family environment, Coach Bielema, Coach Ahen, all of these guys who are within this program, I think it's easy to sell. There's a lot of things here at the University of Illinois, so I think once you get a kid on campus, just getting them around these different facets can make it a lot easier. So slowly but surely, I'm trying to get to that as far as getting the right guys here to this university.
Do you have an idea what the physical makeup of the type of kid that you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I would say when you look at the room, right, the room that I inherited, there's a lot of long physical athletes. I think for the majority, when you stand there and you look at them, they all look like you'd want that position to look like. So, as I continue to evaluate and try to find the next guys to fit in that room, I look at Seth. I look at Gabe, I look at Alec, I look at Trey, you know, Joe Barner, Mason. I look at all of those guys and just kind of say, hey, does he look like these guys? And if he does, and he has some of those traits, by all means, let's go recruit him, let's get him here. You know, so the guys before me did a good job building that room. I'm just trying to take it to another level and continue to get good players here.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.